So I think you have to give permission for that to happen. So we are going to talk about how you handle a lot of petals, because I know what happens when you're just kind of sketching a flower. What happens is, and I'm gonna move everything. So please feel free to unmute yourself. I'm just doing this for the instruction. So one of the things about like petals is that as we start to draw, right, if you're drawing them like this, you'll notice that you kind of get tired, and then your petals start looking a little like this, and then they start getting too big, right? Is everybody following me here on how like your petals get to be kind of ridiculous looking, and not at all like what's happening here? And it's because you're a little bit overwhelmed by the number of petals. So we're going to talk about how to structure the kind of construction of a flower today, like this, with this water lily. And basically, we're going to draw a grid. So I will get there in a minute. But we're going to start by really thinking about this flower as two shapes. There's this shape, the inner shape, and then there's the outer shape. So I'll show you, I'm going to walk you through all of this, so don't think you're not going to get help. But essentially, oh, and I can see this is not very easy to see. Let's try this one. Yeah. Let's try this one. On every handout, it's hard. You have to figure out which thing to use, right? So you'll notice I'm kind of drawing these circles, these two big circles. Good Lord. There we go. Now we'll be able to see it. I'm drawing these two big circles. So we're going to start with these two shapes, and then we're going to build our petals outward. So we're going to start with the outer shapes to help us find our inner shapes. What do I mean by all that business? Well, you are going to find out. So for those of you who want to try drawing this freehand, you're welcome to. I'm suggesting that everybody start with a grid. So if you are gridding, I'm going to demonstrate how to grid. I'd like you to do your grid on a blank sheet of paper, preferably an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of printer paper, maybe 9 by 12, no bigger than that. If you're in Europe, these measurements are 21.5 centimeters by 28 centimeters. And what you're going to do, I'm going to do it on here, but you're going to, with what you're going to do with your pencil, I'm about to do, let's see, let's use this red pastel because it'll be easy to see. I'm lining my ruler up, with the edge of the paper, the halfway point and I'm going to find the halfway point of each edge. So in this case, this is 11 inches, so the halfway point is 5.5. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the short edge as well. It's 8.5, so the halfway point, if you're using inches, is 4.25. You can kind of switch back and forth between inches and centimeters, depending on what's easier to kind of measure for you. So you can see I've got these 4 marks. And then I can, who's yelling over there? Let's see. Hi, Addie. Good to see you. All right, and you can see that I can just line my ruler up between these 2 points to create 2 straight lines that go right through the middle of my drawing. So that's what I would like you to do with your pencil on your blank sheet of paper. Don't worry, for those of you who are new, I'm going to kind of rush through this, but I want you to take your time. So don't feel like you have to rush. Okay. And then I'm going to take the halfway. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find the halfway point of each half. So if I'm using inches on the long side, that's 2.75. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. 5. And up here. Notice how I'm careful to line up my ruler at the same place every time. 2.75. Right, so I can draw these lines, and I'll do the same thing on the short side as well. Pastel gets kind of thick. It doesn't like to. There we go. But it's easy to see. That's the benefit of it. So really what we're going to be doing with these flowers is creating 2 envelopes and then working from within. Then we'll start working. Once we get these shapes in, you're going to find it's going to be much easier to shade and much easier to get the petals as they actually look, rather than that kind of exhausted. By the way, it's 2.2 inches if we're using inches on the short side. And those of you who are working on your own thing, of course, you are welcome to work on your own thing and send it across. And please let me know if you've got any questions. There we go. Which should leave you with 16 equal sized rectangles, right? We've chopped this up into pieces. Now don't worry, I actually have another copy of this so that when I mark it up and you can't see it anymore, we'll be able to draw it. So you can see that once you add your lines, once you get your, and if you want to send me a picture of your grid, just take a picture of it on WhatsApp. And in fact, here, I'm going to send this over right now. Oh, Eugene. Okay. So, okay. All right. Sorry. Great. Good to see you, Eugene. I'm not kicking you out. Just not used to seeing you on this computer. So you can see here, I've sent this across. For those of you who are new to making a grid, go ahead and send me a picture of it when you're done. If you're having trouble, let me know. Those of you who are done with your grid, here, I will catch up, draw a pencil grid. You can start by drawing the 2 blue circle shapes. They're kind of circular. They're actually more like a collection of round and straight edges. Can you see that? And you're going to use the grid to help you locate where they are. So my suggestion is to start with this outer circle first. Do not try to draw any of these petals. We're drawing a kind of, what do you call it? An envelope around the shape of this thing. And then I'd like you to locate this inner shape. So that is your first assignment. But I will quickly grid my paper and catch up with you.
Leah?
Yeah.
So on my phone it says this is beginner drawing. Are we doing charcoal yet or not?
We are, you can use whatever you want, Malia, but oh, sorry, is that you, Abby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We aren't using charcoal yet, but we'll start using charcoal probably in a few weeks when I know everybody has it. Okay?
Yeah, okay,
Awesome.
great.
We're ready to use charcoal, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I didn't know since it was a new month that if we were going to be moving on to charcoal or not.
That's a great.
Actually worked out perfectly because we ordered the charcoal, but it has an today, so.
Perfect, that's perfect. By the way, Addie, do you see that Emma is in on this class?
Yeah, I did see her.
Hello. Emma, I jokingly call Addie little you, mini Emma. And she's about the same age. And Addie, you will notice that Malia is here. She's in Portland, Oregon. So Malia, Addie is in Montana. You are both the same age. And then there's a lot of grown-ups on this call, so 2.75.
A whole lot of old people.
A whole lot of old people, yeah. Whole lot of old people.
Hey, Leah, did
Yeah.
you mention that you were going to send a colored photo? I'm not sure if I'm part of this.
Oh, you're not on the thread. You're not on the thread. Let me add you. Are you on WhatsApp, right?
I am, yeah.
Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me catch up and I will send it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Give me just 1 second. Actually, you know what? I'll do that right now before I forget. Okay, let's see. I'm going to add you because I know I have your phone number in here, so it should be pretty easy. There you are. Okay, so you should be in the Thursday Drawing Fundamentals group. And I am going to just resend this so that you can see it. There you go. Can you see it now, Emma?
I do. Thank you. That's perfect.
And then this is the black and white if you just want that for the values. And then I think I sent this to the wrong group. All right. And then I'm going to take a picture of this and send this over so that people can see the first step. I mean, I think you can see it pretty well here. Yeah, we'll wait. We are going to do charcoal, Addie, because I love charcoal. It's my absolute favorite drawing medium. Well, I mean, how can one really have a favorite medium? They're all so great. But I do want to make sure everybody has materials before we get started. So.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. Come on. All right. So I'm speedily trying to catch up with you. If you're going slow, that's okay. If you're going faster, that's okay. But I'd like you to send me this step when you get it in your drawing. So I'm going to move this over a bit here so that you can see my, yeah, I don't like how that's looking. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, that's better. I know it's a little tricky to see the whole thing. I think you can see that I've got this chart that's similar to what's happening here. And when I start with this blue line, I'm literally going to put a little dot kind of here and here so that when I start to draw it, right, this is literally what I'm going to be drawing. I know it doesn't feel really very much like a flower, and then I'm coming over here. So see, I'm using my grid kind of help me figure out where the outside edges of my flower are. And you can see that this shape is pretty specific. I drew it so that the lines kind of hit the outside edges of everything, where the top edges of everything, the thing that's sticking out the most. So that if we were to make an envelope of this, we would be able to fit the entire shape. So notice I'm not trying to draw this all at one time. And notice I'm also really using this dot technique. Don't tell you can't connect the dots. When you have a grid, you can totally connect the dots. I'm adding my dots first. So there's one here, here. Notice that some parts of this shape, I think this comes out a little bit lighter. Notice it's also, you might see me correct. So that's really how my first shape looks like. It's kind of a big lumpen, kind of ugly looking ball. It's absolutely perfect. I'll send a picture. Let's see. Jean, I'm trying to see. It's a little hard. Okay, I see. It's this way.
I
Jean,
know I do.
can you take it a different, for some reason the camera's not allowing me to look at it. Both of you guys took them sideways. So I can't, here, hold on. I might be able to. I can't tell which way is which. Can you both label what is up and what is down? Because it's hard for me to see and the thing keeps spinning around. I'll send you, let's see. That's up and down. Okay, got it. So there's the,
If you look at the upper left corner of mine, you can see the rings of the notebook, and that is the top.
okay.
And I
This,
redid mine, so mine's the right orientation.
so I'm just noticing, Jackie, as you do yours, that I have to do the same thing to mine. This needs to come down further.
Down further?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That pedal comes a little bit further down. And as I notice, as I'm doing that I'm fixing my own. That's how it works. I might have taken this out a little too far. Let's see. Drawing is not about getting it right. Drawing is about having a system so that you can correct easily. That's what drawing is all about. It's not really being perfect. It's about knowing how to get to perfect. How's that? Easier. And then, so if that's happening, let's see, we got that shape. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind you, so I'm kind of trying to sketch the shape out. That looks pretty good. I think you got to work a little bit on your bottom shape here, Jackie. I think it's too in the center. I think it's too narrow. Look at this shape that you're trying to create, right? And look at your shape. Your shape is a little bit small. Your shape is like here. Your shape is like that. Right? Now think about what you have to fit in here. Hold on. And I'm catching up and then I'm going to look at everybody's. Whoops. There we go. So that's kind of how it should be. Maybe I came down a little too far. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. You might think I'm being picky. Okay, I'm going to say the same thing, Addie. I can't tell where your top and your bottom are. Can you? Oh, there it is. I got it. I got it. So you, if this is correct, and I'm looking at your bottom here, I think you brought this down a little too low. So Addie, you want to bring this up, this shape up, and it's too pointed, right? So you want to bring this. This really comes at the halfway point.
Okay.
Of this. It doesn't come down lower than that. So Jackie went too low, you went too high. They go low, you go high. Remember that we're going to need to have room in this circle. One of the things that helps us is to see, I need room for all these shapes, right, in this circle. So that's kind of, this is, even though this seems like kind of a boring beginning. Okay, let's see. Melia, can you tell me where your top and your bottom are? I can't. Okay, I see. So is this your bottom here? It's
Yeah.
green. Okay, so I want you to notice that your bottom you have right here. This is what you did.
Okay.
See that? Can you see the difference between where it should be and where you got it? So I want you to create a line. This is big. Negative space shape.
Okay.
Notice how big this shape is. Notice there's a little triangle here you're trying to create. Bigger triangle here.
Okay.
They're like two triangles. There's that one that comes across here. There's this one. That sometimes the triangles really help you. So if I'm looking at this the right way. So Malia, one of the things that would help me is if you label the top, just put T or something at the top so I know what the top of your flower is. It's a little hard to tell. The camera likes to spin things around. Jackie, okay. So yeah, all right. So keep sending them in. I'm gonna send this over so you guys can really see it. Remember, what we're doing here is breaking things apart in shapes and putting them back together. It's like a car engine. So this one's coming from me. Let's see. Addie, you need more space down here. Your triangle is bigger here. You have, yours is like this.
Oh, okay.
I know this seems really dumb, you guys, but if you get these shapes right, it gets so much easier later on. So even though it feels weird, and it's okay not to get it right on the first go rounds. Notice how much space there is between this inner circle and the outer circle, like the shapes of the outer circle. Okay. I think this comes out a little bit, Jackie. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. I mean, the truth is you can continue to adjust this. So let's see, Addie, better. Yeah, I think you're gonna find out you're gonna need to bring this out a little bit, but maybe not. I will let that stand by now. Okay, that looks in pretty good shape. Okay, so your second step, here, let me get another color we haven't used yet, is now we're gonna carve in only the shapes, the outer shapes between the outer edge. We're not doing any inner lines yet. Basically, we're adding in a series of triangles. I don't know if you guys can see this. We're gonna ignore the reflection for now and go back and add that in later. So can you see how this, let me show you how this works. It feels weird, and I'll also take a picture so you guys can really see it. There we go. So if you can see here, now I'm using my grid lines to kind of come up . I can see that this flower comes down. Really, I'm just doing this set of triangles with the outer edge. Let's see. This comes out a little bit. Comes down here. Up a little bit higher. So I'm using both my grid lines and my circles, my outer circles, to tell me where to put these outside edges. Notice this comes here. So I'm doing this very fast. Once again, I'm not expecting you to do this so fast. You're going to see that it's easier. Okay, so it's easier to, let's see, to get your shapes right if you're just dealing with the outer edges. And you're also paying really close attention to how these petals. So you're paying attention to this shape and also this shape right here, right? So this petal has to come pretty close to the edge of the square, the rectangle. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So take your time. Do this methodically. Don't go as fast as me. You see how I'm not worried about any of those inner lines? You see how, oh, I forgot to draw one in. There you go. Which makes it, and I'm really paying attention to these shapes. Does anybody know what these shapes are called? What are these shapes here, besides triangles? What is this? Anybody know what we're drawing right now? Starts with an N.
The negative space.
The negative space, right? So the negative space is the space that is not the object. It's between parts of the object. So the negative space is as important. We don't like to think about that when we're just thinking about objects, but the negative space is important. As important as the thing that we're drawing. Very nice, Jean. Good job. So this is what you should have. It still doesn't look fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. It should look a little awkward. Here, hold on. I'm gonna take this and then I'll stop this and I'll catch up with y'all. Okay, give me 1 second, Malia, and I'm gonna send this over to you, but I'm gonna send you what step 2 looks like. Yeah, Malia, that looks pretty good. I'd say go forward. Go ahead and draw your outer shapes of these. So if you can't see this well enough, sometimes the lighting in my studio is not fantastic. You can look at the picture I sent you where the lines are brighter. It's on the WhatsApp thread. And please feel free, you guys, send over other stuff.
There goes my work.
Ah. Just looking to make sure everybody. So don't, like I said, I don't want you to rush this project, and remember process, and remember that I'm going to record all of this. So once you guys have, once we finish this lesson, it's going to be available on a recording for you. I love this idea. Oh, there we go. That we're dealing with these, this thing in pieces. Let's see. 1. Jean, I think something went a little haywire here. I think you got too far off I think you missed a petal. Come back here to this square.
Okay.
Redo it. Look at how close everything is. Look at how far away your stuff is. I think something got a little too big. This is a smaller petal than you think. Look what happens. One makes things too big. It's really easy. My computer has decided to lecture me on storage space right now. Why do they think that is the time? And then, of course, You're going to do the same thing with this inner shapes. Here, I'll send this in as well. So I'm not, once again, you guys, I'm not trying to rush you. I'm just trying to send the pieces over as they come together. Notice that like this second tier of flowers, there's a kind of a opening to the petals that happens, that comes, this is what we're working on, this sort of outer opening. And I know this is not exactly easy, but I still think it's easier than trying to do it the other way. So Addie, I think you're a little, I think you need a little bit of a bigger triangle here. This one looks good. That all looks good. Good, 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 good. Everything else looks good. You can jump in and start to do this section. Notice how much we're ignoring. I think part of drawing is knowing when to ignore the details. Like, so you can get, like, you go a little bit of crazy if you didn't really, if you paid too much attention to the details. And then the other thing we can do here, let's see, the pink one is, of course, once we get all of these things in, we can start at least pulling. What? Oh, sorry. I sometimes feel my phone is out of my control. So you'll see now I'm bringing the inside lines in. And the inside lines are a lot easier to make once you have the outside lines as guidance. There's also, you'll notice some pretty cool shadows, which I'm outlining as well. So if you do this in stages, it becomes way more manageable. Let's see. Make this slightly bigger, Jackie. This one looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Yep, yep. Everything else looks pretty good. Yep. So you can get started on the inners. Then you'll see notice not all the petals go to the center, right? Some petals, like this one, kind of cover this one. This comes like this. This petal goes like this, so we can't really see the edge of that petal. This petal comes in over here and covers this up and comes down. So what ends up happening, yes, this petal. Some petals we see the whole thing and others we don't. You might start to find this umbrella, the outer shapes a bit confusing. So once you get those out, you can erase them.
Hey, Leah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you send a picture over of the flower with the green?
I thought I did. Did I not do that?
I don't see one.
Ha! I totally didn't. Thank you. Here we go. There we go. So now you can see now I'm starting to have something that looks a little bit more flower-like. right? The petals are there. If you want to, you can go in and start adding in the reflections, which are here. You can erase these outer lines because you don't really need them anymore. What you kind of have to do is live, if you're going to draw, learn to draw properly, you have to recognize that you're not going to get, if you try to get into detail too quickly, your drawing is going to fail, right? That's the mistake that most people who are not trained how to draw do. They try to get into detail. They try to start drawing from here and then they draw outward and they run out of room because we often make things too big or too small. So, but if you got to admit, when you look at this drawing, it feels a little awkward. It also challenges our sense of where things should be because things are generally in different places than we think they should be. They take up less or more space depending on how close or far away they are, what direction they're turned, you know, all of those things. So your job is to kind of suspend disbelief. I don't know, like watching a magic show or something. Like you're like suspending disbelief. So you can, which means your drawing stays a little awkward, right, before it becomes great. I'm going to take a picture of this so you can see where mine is just at this point. These are under here are the reflections. Maybe I should take them out right now. I'll put them in later so they aren't confusing to you guys. We can deal with reflections later. So here, hold on, let me set a picture without the reflections. Oh yeah, Addie, that looks great. That looks really great. Good job. Don't you feel proud of yourself now, just even at this point, to get the shapes right?
Yeah.
And it got easier, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Addie, if you can see it, there are some pretty key light and dark areas. I'm going to start by sketching the outline of them again. In
Okay.
here. I'm not going to draw, let's see, those are lights. So it's kind of darker in here. It's darker here. It's dark here. See these shadows that are in some of the flowers, that are in some of the petals? There's a lot of shadow. I might have to go to the next, we're gonna have to go to the next sketch because I've completely covered it up. Here. I'll try and show up close. Yeah, there we go. You're going to see some pretty neat and intense light and dark shadows. And that's what we're going to focus on next. I'm going to send them over. Oh, I think I just realized this petal is a shadow. It's a reflection. I don't think I realized that until just this minute. It's a reflection of this one here. Okay. understand. You like that? We have double. We have a double thing here just to show us all of the pieces that are happening. This little chart here starts to show you where the lights and darks are. So you can get some of those shapes in. You don't have to get all of them. I find that I'm kind of reshaping this petal shape a little bit as I come down in here. And what's really awesome about drawing the way we did is that I know that even if I have to reshape that petal, it's not going to be problematic for the rest of my drawing. Drawing accurately is not about drawing everything. It's actually more about knowing what to draw. Does that make sense? And what to not draw. To create a feeling. So what I've outlined for you are the biggest lights and dark shapes here, and I'm sketching them in now. Please don't feel like you have to go this fast. I'm not trying to push you in that direction. And let's also spend just a minute talking about value. Value is the lightness or darkness of any color, right? So if a 1 is like it's white, right? No color. And a 5 is super dark, like this, right? This is a 1, this is a 5, then 2, 3, and 4. So this is light, this is dark. 2, 3, and 4, notice I have to use my eraser a little bit, right? Become gradually darker, right? These are what we like to call midtones, right? Because they're in the middle between light and dark. So the darkest tone is actually around the edge of the flower. It's in the water. This is like 5s, pretty much all the way around. We probably got a 3 in here, 3 in parts of here, and then maybe, let's see, I'm sorry, I was in the middle of sketching this in. This is probably like a 2. This is like a 3. This is like a 3. These are probably 2s. Got it? So as you're sketching in your lights and your darks, you're starting with, this is a 2 for sure. Let's see, 2 here, 3 here. So at this point, you may want to add in, you can see down here, your other reflections besides this one in the water, just so you've got them. I'll send this picture over. These are the reflected petals. Oops. And please let me know, you guys, if I'm going too fast. or I'm speaking too quickly. I'd say these are maybe a 3.5 or a 4. The reflections here, they're darker than the flower itself. Usually it's hard to tell what something is until you kind of look at the thing next to it. So you get to decide, do you want to just keep this flower the way it is? Do you want to add other pieces of this drawing to it? You have a choice. You could add in this, you know, lily stalk here, but you don't have to. I feel like you could totally just work on it, right? You could add this here. You could add this lily pad here if you want to. I'm using my grid and also negative space to get that shape right. And like a flat pancake. And then once I've done that, I can start to darken around the edge. So I can start to add in some of my 5 around the edges of my flower. Look at what that does as I start to do it. You see how my flower starts to come out, even though I haven't added any more details to it. So just simply bringing in the dark. I'm going to kind of work around this piece. Yeah, this is starting to actually shape out my flower very nicely. I don't have to fill out the whole paper. I can just kind of come around the edge. So this dark is really important here. And this is because this is where the darkest parts of the flower and the flower reflections show up. So I need to make sure that the water is darker than this petal. So you see when I lay down my 3, take the 3 off it. When I lay down my 3, I need to make sure that this looks like a 5 around it, right? So my 3 is not too dark. So that's why it helps to have this dark around, because it helps me gauge how dark to make the rest of my colors. See how I'm coming back in and getting a little bit darker? Oh, yep, see, so I have to go much darker here around my petal to make sure that I can get this petal in, this petal and this petal, which are darker than this petal, but lighter than the back in the water. So now I'm going to move around this thing and start adding in my darks, my lighter darks. I'm using my finger, not a fantastic way to blend your colors with a pencil, but it will work in a pinch. Also, I've run out of sharpener pencil. All of these things may happen to you. And then how much detail you add is kind of up to you. Now, if you look here, this is not, so this is like a 2. This has got to be lighter than this. But not exactly white, right? You can see that this reads as darker than this color. So you're going to find yourself constantly adjusting. Then you can kind of choose to go as heavy, and you're not going to color in the white parts at all. You're just going to leave them light. So you get to choose how much detail you want which is really just when the flower starts to make you happy. When you start to feel it. I'm going to even just come in here and shade this whole thing a little bit darker on the inside. And then I can come back with an eraser and a pencil to kind of lighten and darken in places as I want to. So, right, like there's these darker areas, maybe they're 4s here. And then I've got these lighter. Oh, I really wish I had your eraser, Jessica. I'm gonna get one. Jessica
You
knows.
will never regret the electric
Tosh-
eraser.
Tosh showed us. Toshween showed us.
Oh, really? Toshwin, you got one?
Got one. Oh yeah.
Do you love it? Do you love it so much?
So it's a game changer.
Mine's on order.
It is a game changer, my friend. It is a game changer. Here, Leah, I'll help you. I'll give you vibes.
Yes. Can you share it? Can you? No, I'll share it. I've got it. I've got it. I'm going to share this across because yes, you could totally work with your normal little eraser like I'm doing here. You'll see.
But why?
I noticed, by the way, that now my flower is really starting to look like a lily. I haven't got that much detail in yet, right? So you get to make decisions about when you're happy with this piece. How far to go. Send me pictures of what you're working on. I know other people are working on other things. Please send me other things. Allie, that looks great. Yeah, that looks really wonderful. Awesome. Just keep going. Great work. I'll kind of send you where it is. You know, like your drawing's gonna stay, but be okay with your drawing being in kind of the awkward stage for as long as it needs to be. Ah, Emma's watercoloring. Yep. That's beautiful. Isn't this a fun one, Emma? No, and notice what Emma's doing with her watercolor. Notice that she's starting with the darkest. She also started with the darkest areas, really. She has a little bit of light in here, but notice that she started with the darkest areas first to really shape her petals.
It's such a fun picture to do.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
You guys would like it. And I thought it's just challenging and enough that like people wouldn't know, would want some help on how to break it down. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. How do you handle all those petals? It can be overwhelming. So this is the way to handle the petals. It actually is many steps and it just takes a long time. It's also accepting that it takes a long time to get like, oh, I see her. Hold on. My air conditioner keeps, there we go. There we go. My air conditioner keeps blowing my paper up and that affects the, what's happening here. Here, you stay down. Take these numbers out. Oh, Malia, that's wonderful. Aren't you happy with it? Aren't you pleased? Just keep on going. So does this help a little bit? I saw you nodding your head and going like, so notice in the background here that some of these petals in the background behind the others are a little bit darker. Can you see that? They're not super dark, they're like a 2. They're not as dark as like what's happening in here, for example. But there's some fun shadows. You can get as many, as few or as many as you want at this stage. You get to kind of decide. But notice the real key is like kind of working those edges between the light and the dark. So really trying to push the white on the one side, the dark on the other. Yeah, a little bit of white here that needs to come in. Deal with it one shape at a time. Notice that the flowers are not always like this guy is kind of light on the edge here. And then gets a little darker as it moves away from the light. This one's fairly light. This one's a little bit darker. So as you start to go in, you'll see more variations. You can get as many as you want to. You can get as detailed or as simple as you like with this. There is really, yeah, I'm dying to get to, honestly, Addie, I'm dying to get to charcoal because this would be an amazing piece. We would be able to do so much more than we can with the pencil.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll get there.
I'm super excited.
I'm super excited too. Glad somebody else is super excited. I like this. The pencil is not I like the pencil. I mean, it's a wonderful tool. It's the most effective tool you have.
So Leah, should I revolutionize your pencil life too?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. Tell us this pencil.
Last summer I discovered these and my graphite life has been forever altered.
Show them.
I'm digging them out. These are Statler clutch pencils. I got 4 of them.
You guys see these? Are they mechanical pencils?
No, they're actually not mechanical pencils. They are called clutch pencils. And if I'm coordinated enough to show this to you, the lead is not a mechanical pencil lead. It's much thicker. It's German graphite and it comes in, well, this is short because I've used it a lot, but it comes in these sticks and these really funky cases. And it has its own sharpener that you drop. I got these from Kevin Wisty that he uses these. You put it in there and then you put it in the barrel and you spin it around.
Wow.
And it gives you this, I'm so uncoordinated, this beautiful, perfect, crazy point.
Yeah, I want one of those.
And I got one and I put HB leads in it. And I loved it so much. I got it in HB. I got a pencil for B, a 2B, and a 4B. It doesn't come, the graphite doesn't come in softer than a 4B. So they are not mechanical pencils. They don't have those stupid little leads, but they sharpen beautifully. And I am so in love with these. And that is why I've been doing so much graphite and figure drawing, because I love these pencils so much. They're very solid. They're metal. They have a good weight to them, and you can color code the back.
Jean, don't listen. Don't listen. Don't listen. It's another thing to buy, Jean. It's another thing to buy. That's fantastic. Actually, can you send
This whole class
Yeah.
is just a big trap.
Yeah.
Blick Arts pays you to do this to me.
Sorry, Jean.
Pencils don't take up any space.
They really don't.
Yeah.
Like, you just put them in their own little pencil case, and they're all happy together.
Sure. Do that to Jean. Do that to Jean. Fine.
I'll put the link in the chat. I have to copy paste it from Amazon and find it.
Great. If you could share that, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, you know I'll share all the art supplies.
I know.
Ashwin needs to go shopping next month anyhow, so you know.
And Tosh shared the, I'll get it over in a second. Tosh showed the eraser, the 0.
Oh, the little itty bitty one? Yeah, that one's great too. It looks like, hold on, it's in my pencil case, my other pencil case. This guy. This thing is heckin' awesome.
One of the things you may have to do is come back with your eraser and reclaim some of your whites. After you have started, you'll see, it'll become clearer to you as you start to go in, right? What needs it. But notice this white flower is not very white. It's mostly gray shades. There's just little bits of light. Down here, I see this lovely little light edge where here, this kind of raggedy edge here. So I'm trying a little bit to mimic that. And I'm doing that by getting rid of my straight lines, kind of adding in raggedy lines that are lighter, and then going in and darkening a little bit around them. This is what they mean by working the edge. This is what I mean when I say working the edge. You're going to be working the edge. So that your lights appear light. Your lights don't really appear light. Believe it or not, you can't have any light without darkness. How's that for deeply philosophical? Not only that, just like you can't have joy without sorrow, blah, 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 right? You can't have the lights without the beauty of the darks. That's why I love the darks. The darks are the things that make, we need dark to make our light really sing. you're gonna find after a while that you stop even thinking of this as a flower. And you just start looking at like it as a series of contiguous, meaning connected together, light and dark shapes, right? It's kind of fun. You might find that you like using your pencil in a way to create marks that feel like they mimic what's happening with the object. You're going to have a very unique way of doing that. Everybody does. I use my eraser a lot.
So can somebody explain why we got flood advisory, tropical storm warning? The city keeps texting me. They even sent out one of those beepy emergency alerts.
Isn't it now in New
Like
York?
flooding until 10 p.m., heavy rain, blah, 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 tropical storm. They're naming the tropical storms now. I think this one is Elsa. And it's not even fucking raining out. Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped an F-bomb. It's not even raining outside.
It was crazy raining here about 2 or 3 o'clock.
And then
And
nothing.
but then it's for the whole tri-state area. So if you're in New Jersey in low-lying areas, it could be flooding there.
Uh-oh. You all right, Janet? You okay over there?
I'm not in a low-lying area.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your good explanation, Jean.
You're welcome.
It does specifically say Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan.
Well, there are low-lying areas here too.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Okay, so it's for the Rockaways.
In strange news, in Portland, Malia and I can tell you that it is sunny and we haven't seen rain in like a long time, right, Malia? Has not rained in a long, she's nodding her head, yes, it has been very, very hot here, uncharacteristically.
Are you guys still in that craziness of heat, or you're
No.
past it now?
No, that came down after a couple of
Good,
days, thank God.
good.
Hot
Yeah,
as-
seriously.
By the way, send stuff over, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here kind of working on it, but send your stuff over. And if you're not working on this project, send it over anyway, whatever you're working on. I'm happy to see it. Oh yeah, Malia, that's looking lovely. Just keep extending out that dark. And notice, yeah, I like how you handled, Malia, this part down here. I like these lines that you've got in here, really showing this. So yeah, just keep pushing those darks, right? When I say push the darks, I mean add more dark in because it's really gonna push your flower forward. Oh, nice, Jackie. Really nice. It's kind of fun, isn't it? Decide what else you want to add in here. You know, you can shade these guys too, right? This is not a, this is probably a 3. You've got your lily pad in here. You should have seen the one I was thinking about doing before. It was a lot of lily pads and a lot of flowers. And then I thought, that's too mean. It's too hard to do in 2 hours. I'm not going to do that to everybody. I'm going to run out of that again. Did you send that stuff across, Jessica?
Oh no, because I'm painting.
Okay. Okay, later.
Yeah, I'll do it after class.
Later. Don't interrupt the flow, baby. Janet, are you working on a pencil drawing?
Working on a marker drawing.
Nice. Can you send it over?
Not right now.
Okay.
I will.
They're really on fire. Boy, did you kill it with that guy with Dante in the tree.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
That one was a lot of fun.
Kill.
So cool.
Such a
Yeah,
great.
you killed it, Janet.
killed
You
it.
did.
You killed it.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
that's it.
Thank you.
That
Y'all
one
have-
has to be in the show in November.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and by the way, I will be setting up a website so that you guys can enter your own stuff.